Prepper Nation, how y'all doing? This is John, of course. Furniture moving is complete. Thank you, folks, for all the well wishes there on YouTube. Moved a bunch of furniture today. Ate a killer cheesesteak when we were done, so it's all good. Going to be talking about and got some information, folks, a little bit of inside information about the wildfires that are taking place out west on the coast. Not really California, but we're talking Oregon, Washington State. Before we get there, let me please take a few minutes to thank the people who are supporting this channel. Brand new on Patreon, we have, drum roll please, Chris Zappa, Jamie Folsom, Mike Wazowski, Lori Rutledge, Phil Smith, Anna Underwood, Rod Griffin, Sonia Scott, and Ray Lee. And I feel like I'm back in high school reading in front of the class. Thank you guys for signing up at $1 a month. And my coffee tonight, listen to this, folks, before we get going here. You three folks have the distinct privilege of funding the first cup of coffee this year, the pumpkin spice. Anybody else into pumpkin spice? Because I sure am. Thank you, Will Gordon, Stephen Smith, and Elizabeth Puryear. Appreciate it. So, let's talk about the wildfires. I'm sure you folks, most of you at least, have seen this in the news. It's been going on for a while. And over on Patreon, my friend Beeper sends me, I think this was earlier yesterday, sends me some information on the wildfires, and I really at that time wanted to go ahead and post a video. I didn't have the time to do it. And then this morning, of course, I got recruited to move furniture, so this is actually the first time I've had to sit down and I'm able to tell you guys about this. So anyway, long story short, Beeper lives in Washington State, and of course we got wildfires out there as well now, but telephone poles are being cut by chainsaws. And the FBI, it's such a problem now in Washington State that the FBI is being called in, has already been called in to investigate. And the FBI and the police publicly are saying, that these are random events. These are just, one individual maybe going around and doing the mischief. But behind the scenes, on the local police scanner feeds, that's not what residents are hearing. Beeper's telling me that they are actually calling it a coordinated attack on the police scanners up there in that area of Washington. And what I'm going to do actually is he sent me the news article complete with the video that was on the local station, the affiliate there. I'm going to link that in the description of this video, because I would, just like I told Beeper, I would love to be able to say this blows my mind and I'm shocked. But I'm not shocked. This is definitely the work of Antifa. And let me explain to you what Antifa is. The Angry Prepper said it best. I saw his video a while ago. He said they're a bunch of children. But he has a point, okay? Have you ever noticed, you'd be in a store or something, and a kid just doesn't get what they want in line, and they just start throwing a fit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they are screaming, they are yelling, they're kicking their feet all over the place because they don't get what they want. And it's to the point where, I guess a lot of kids do this, but it gets to the point where everybody else around them is just like miserable. Like, please God, check me out so I can get out to my vehicle. This is Antifa. To a T. I think the Angry Prepper hit it on the head, except in our case, this kid is willing to apparently start fires and literally try and burn states down. Okay, this is not a random occurrence, and it's not completely due to climate change. Do I believe in climate change? Yeah. Do I think mankind is the cause of it? Well, I would like to see a whole lot more scientific proof of that. because, we're told that we had an ice age a long time ago, and I'm pretty sure man didn't cause that. Climate change has been here with us since the beginning. And so, to basically govern people and strong arm people based on the idea and the concept of climate change, and tell everyone that they're responsible when you're not really providing any kind of proof whatsoever outside of Bill Nye the Science Guy, who's not even a scientist, is mind-blowing to me. But I digress. What is going on here, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it, this is a campaign strategy, folks. You heard that here first. I don't want to go there and say all Democrats, everyone on the left, but the Democratic Party, the actual figureheads of the party, the politicians, they have been playing politics since before Donald Trump took office. They are pissed off to this day that Hillary Clinton is not the president and that the globalist agenda cannot continue as planned. And so at every single turn, we have had to put up with temper tantrums. I mean, tantrums, really, guys. That's what they are. From Kavanaugh. Remember the original Portland riots and the riots, what was it, the night after the election this stuff started. And it's intensified. And I think, and this is just a theory, guys, I was thinking about this as I'm riding for an hour in a van today, riding shotgun, trying to get a little bit of sleep on my way to move some furniture. I'm sitting here with my eyes closed thinking, and that's when it occurred to me, this is a campaign strategy. What has happened is the COVID, which is a real thing. I'm not saying it's not a real thing, folks, but you never let it go to waste, right? A good crisis, you don't let it go to waste. And so the left weaponized it to the point where now we're starting to see a food shortage because they completely shut it down. We are seeing the opening stages of a depression because they completely shut the country down. And when Trump's trying to open it up, you have Democratic mayors shutting it down even more. It's a campaign strategy. Why? So they could take, the destruction and the economy, which was Trump's number one running platform, and just dump it in Trump's lap. And I think what is going on now with the population here in the United States is most people realize, okay, this was never as bad as they claimed it was going to be. Like at one point in time, we were told worldwide there were going to be like 100 million deaths or something. And any death is bad. I'm not trying to downplay it, but I'm saying they have taken it to an extreme. And I think most people realize this now. Occasionally I will be driving down the highway here, and I will pass somebody, or I'll be at a red light and they'll be across the street in their car by themselves wearing a mask. And I don't really understand this train of thought at all. People are scared to death. I went fishing at the lake recently, and there are people laying out in the sun, and there are literally 50 yards in between to the next person, and they are by themselves and they're wearing a mask outside. So I think it's a fear and a control thing more than anything else. And I think they had hoped to crash the economy and then dump it in Trump's lap and kind of shift the votes in this country. Now I think Democrats have realized this is not working as the election approaches. Again, just my opinion. And so now, then it kind of shifted to the riots. And, this is Donald Trump's America and all this narrative. That's not working. That's actually backfiring on them folks. So now they have shifted, again, I believe that the fires that we're seeing in the mischief and the telephone poles and things out west, I believe that this is the work of Antifa. And I think that this is going to be weaponized also to be thrown in Donald Trump's lap. We're starting to see the leftist mainstream media outlets already shifting the blame. You know, it's 100% because of climate change, even though there's no real proof of that. And climate change is Donald Trump's fault. It's a campaign strategy. This is the equivalent of a kid in line at the store who hasn't had their way for 4 years, and now they are basically diving into the back of their diaper and throwing feces all over the place. I mean, these people will literally burn the country down before they let Donald Trump get reelected again, right? But let me just say this, and I'm going to make a bold prediction right here on Prepper Nation. And I could be wrong, but this is a prediction, folks. Donald Trump's going to win in November. He is going to win in November, and this whole charade, this whole 4 years of torture and terrorizing the public to punish them for voting for Donald Trump is going to backfire miserably. Because once Trump is elected to a second term, and he really has nothing to lose at that point, as long as he stays within the confines of the Constitution and his presidential duties, he is going to flip the script on the Democratic Party, on Antifa. We are going to see, again, I believe, in these cities, martial law. Antifa, he's going to bury these folks under prisons. You understand what I'm saying? He's going to begin, I mean, it's just going to be spectacular. And that is my personal prediction. I think he's going to win. I don't want to say by a large margin, but I think it's going to be evident to the average person in November that Trump did in fact win the election. Democrats can contest it, and that's fine, that's legal. But I think to the average person, they're going to realize, okay, this was a whopper of a victory. They're going to back the president. The president, as I said before, is going to drop the hammer on Antifa. He's going to drop the hammer on all of this lawlessness. Sorry, it's late. And moving forward, again, we're either going to have a civil war or we're just going to be done with the nonsense. One or the other. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you. I've been wanting to share it since yesterday when I got this. Everything's Trump's fault, right? Sometimes it is. Sometimes he runs his mouth a little too much. The foot goes in. He speaks off the cuff. He's a politician now, folks. He claims he's not a politician, but he's a politician at this point. But he is outsmarting the Democratic convention at every turn, like the figureheads in the Democratic Party. If you and I have figured out that Nancy Pelosi is trying to become president by default, I promise you, Donald Trump has figured this out, and his campaign team has figured this out, and it will not happen. And that's pretty much it. The only other question that I had that I wanted to cover from Patreon, and I'll do it very quickly. Someone over there asked me about blackouts and how that's going to affect banks, if they're going to lose all their money from the bank. And my reply, just in case you folks wanted to know, I don't think you're necessarily going to lose your money for good out of the bank. If there's a blackout, they were saying it could be 5 to 7 days before power was restored, because again, it's California and they're going to punish you with blackouts, right? How dare you vote Trump? But no, you're not going to lose your money long term, but you're going to lose, I think, the ability to use a bank card for 5 to 7 days, depending on how long it is. There will be a lot of stores that will not be able to process a bank card. So my advice in that situation is to draw enough cash out of the bank so you can spend it during a blackout, and then draw a little bit extra out in case there's an emergency or something like that. But anyway, I'm going to get off here and I'm going to go ahead and schedule the, I'm going to have two videos popping up today. This is the morning video, the afternoon video. We're going to be talking about bugging out, and I'm getting ready to film that one. So you guys have a blessed day.